Alrighty, what up? What is up, YouTube? Let me see if I can fix the camera for you guys. Let me know if you guys can you guys see me? This light sucks, man. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get. I don't have any like professional lights like that, so I have to fucking like move around to where the sun shows in my my room. But today, welcome back to QDog 1994 channel. Today, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do a little reaction video to Mr. Ballen, Lost Episodes. I seen one of these yesterday. It wasn't this episode. It was like episode 2, I believe, and I really enjoyed it. So I thought, why keep my enjoyment to myself? Why not enjoy it with the folks, with the people? You know what I'm saying? So if you like these type of videos and want me to do more, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, share this video out there so we can get more people to join the dog fam. You know what I'm saying? Or not really. I don't want to say the dog fam. Get more people to be big dogs. That's what it's gonna be. But with that being said, this is a Mr. Ballen video. It's called Lost Episode number 1. Well, I don't know if that's what it's called, but that's the title, so that's what I'm reading right now. So let's just get into the video. I should pause it, shouldn't I? Okay. This is a story about Larry Davenport. This story about Larry Davenport was originally paired with another story about a boy named Michael who went missing 8 days prior in the same location, Roan Mountain, North Carolina. Michael and his family asked us to remove the video. So that's why you are hearing Larry's story. Larry's story now as a weird standalone story. Oh shoot. I guess, wow. Well, at least we know like these stories be real. I always assumed they were, but we had to take it down because the family was like, oh man,
on July 17,
still too fresh or
1983, 8 days after Michael is found, another person goes missing in the same section of Roan Mountain. And I've got to say, their story sounds an awful lot like Michael's. So, on July 17, 1983, Larry Davenport, who is a 20-year-old avid hiker, decides to head up to Roan Mountain with a couple of his friends to go.
Sorry, pausing it again, but quick question, you guys. Anybody out there like hiking, like camping? I personally have been camping a couple of times in my life, and I've enjoyed it. I think hiking goes right along with camping, so I believe I've been hiking as well. So generally, you know, I'm not the average city kid where outdoors, I can't stand it. No, I don't mind outdoors. I couldn't live outdoors, but I don't mind, you know, camping for like a week or two or whatnot. But yeah, so wow, yeah, let's get back.
They really liked the western side of Roan Mountain. They were very eager to get up to the top where they could have a picnic before the sun went down. So they make it up to this section of the mountain where it's actually a campsite, and it's not that far from where Michael went missing. And there's picnic tables, and there's little barbecues. You can put in charcoal briquettes and have your own little barbecue. They get up there, and they set up their picnic on one of the picnic tables. And they're having a great time. They're joking. They're laughing. And at some point, Larry takes off his shirt and his shoes. And the weather was pretty good. It wasn't super hot out, but it was decent enough that no one thought it was odd that he was taking off his clothes and maybe kicking back and relaxing, enjoying the nice weather. Then, at some point, out of nowhere, he stands up and he starts walking over to the tree line because they were in a bit of a clearing. And as he's walking over, one of his friends would later say that it seemed odd if he was going to, you know, relieve himself in the tree line that he wouldn't take his shoes because the risk of stepping on something and puncturing your foot's pretty high. It was only in retrospect that this friend thought of that.
Yeah, that's kind of weird too. Like, maybe he said it already, but are like saying like I don't know, woods. I guess there's only one type of woods, but like I guess there's like more park type of woods where like everything's like kept up by like people and whatnot. Like people cut the grass and then they come and like clean the sidewalk or whatnot. But then there's the woods, the woods, which is tall trees. Every tree looks the same. Every direction looks generally the same, and you can run into some pretty big animals out there. I've seen a couple. So yeah, I don't know, man. Taking off your shirt and shoes. I mean, like you said, it was warm, so I get the shirt, but the shoes might be a bit much, man. They ain't worried about ants, nothing like that.
At the time, his friends didn't think twice. He's getting up to relieve himself. He'll be back in a minute. After a few moments, when Larry did not come back, somebody turned around to see what he was doing. And they saw him walking in a straight line away from them, well into the forest. This is a thick forest. It's not somewhere you're going to go walking barefoot without a shirt on. And he is way into the woods at this point. The friends have this moment of shock. Even if he needed to relieve himself, he would have done it much closer to the edge.
Yeah, that's weird.
At him, thinking like, this isn't really happening. He's gonna turn around and come back. When he didn't, somebody yelled like, "Hey, Larry, what are you doing?" Doesn't turn around, just keeps walking. So
what the hell?
And they start walking over, they're yelling to him, expecting him to turn around. And then at some point, he's far enough away that they can't even see him anymore. So they start running into the forest, yelling for him to stop and to come back. But as they got farther and farther in and they couldn't find him, they began to get worried that they were going to get lost. And so they decide, after about an hour of just yelling for him and kind of peering around to hopefully get a look at him, thinking he might just come back because there was no explanation for this, they eventually called the authorities. Authorities are able to very quickly launch a massive search in this area, very similar to the search that was launched for Michael, except without military involvement. But it was just as many people, hundreds of people, scouring this area. He doesn't have shoes on, he doesn't have a shirt on. And so they're
I'm sorry, I had to pause it real quick. So, yeah, this whole thing just seems weird, bro. Like, just like he's in some type of trance, going deep into the forest, from what it sounds like. And if I was his friends, I wouldn't. Man, I'd like to say I wouldn't have went after him, but yeah, if I'm being a good friend, I'm gonna go try and at least turn him around or see what he's trying to do. But yeah, I could definitely understand why they turned around. Like I said earlier in the video, once you get really deep in the woods, stuff really starts to look the same, and that's troublesome, especially when you're trying to find your way out.
Thinking on the idea that even though he's walked off for some reason, he can't go very far. It's going to take a minute, but they're going to find him because he can't escape the search party. But he does. And after 3 days of not finding this guy, despite this massive effort, people are baffled. But on the third day, a very strange but lucky break in the case occurred. 8 miles away from where the search is happening for Larry, a group of hikers called into police that they had seen a man walking around them wearing only what they described as a bed sheet. He was probably not wearing a shirt. They didn't know if he had pants on or not, but they could see that, his shin down had nothing on it, and he had no shoes on, and he had this bed sheet wrapped around him. And he wasn't coming towards them. He wasn't threatening them in any way. He just looked like there's something wrong with this guy. Somebody needs to collect this guy and see what's going on.
Okay, so for a second I thought this was another video I watched of Mr. Ballen where it was like this bear man that had kidnapped this kid or something. It was a crazy video. I'll see if I can find it and do a reaction for you guys. But yeah, dude with a bed sheet in the middle of the woods. Yeah, it's something's either going on. Something's not right with that whole scenario.
So the police go over, and sure enough, it's Larry. When police got to Larry, he was visibly shaken, confused.
Hold up. So, how the heck did he end up 8 miles away in a bed sheet? What happened to his shorts? What? Yeah, because he said he took off his shirt and his shoes. So I'm assuming either he had pants or shorts on. Because I as a dude, I've been at a camping trip. Dudes are not just gonna let you just go straight to the underwear, usually they'll be like, yo, if you're gonna change to your underwear, go into your tent or do something like that. So I'm assuming if he took off his shirt and shoes and they seen that and they let him do it, they were cool with it, then he had on his pants or shorts. So now this dude is 8 miles away from where he was originally and nothing but a bed sheet, bedcloth, wash towel. This is weird.
He didn't really even know why he was there. He didn't know why he had this bed sheet wrapped around him, which it would turn out to be a large curtain, not a bed sheet. He did have a few scratches on his body, but probably not as many as they anticipated him having, considering the distance he had covered. 8 miles through thick rhododendron thickets. He should have been covered head to toe in cuts, but he wasn't, but he had a few. So the first thing they did is they brought him to a hospital, and he was diagnosed with something called acute brain syndrome, which is a term that refers to a host of psychiatric conditions that are temporary and diffuse over time that are caused by head injury, drugs, or infection. Basically, he was totally mentally unstable, but it would get better over time. Once he stabilized a bit, investigators asked him, what happened? So Larry wasn't sure why he left his friends, but at some point after leaving his friends, he wound up at this abandoned cabin. And he describes the cabin, and he says where it is, and...
Oh, no, fam. Dog, no. Absolutely not. How many movies? I think there's one very famous one. I think it's literally called Cabin in the Woods. Dog, that's not... Nah, man. There's several places I wouldn't go in the woods, in a cabin in the woods, especially if it's just off by itself, just sitting there looking abandoned, bro. You don't know if Jason's in there, Michael. I don't know, bro. I don't, listen, man. This is not a good idea, bro. You end up like this guy, walking around 8 miles from where you were in a fucking curtain. This is wild, bro.
He said he went in the cabin and he didn't have clothes on, so he pulled one of the
curtains he
off
went in the cabin
windows and wrapped it around himself, and he was there for a bit before ultimately leaving the cabin, and then he was discovered. And so investigators, they had a bunch of issues with this, because number one, how do we account for you traveling 8 miles? Because what you've just described is not an 8-mile journey. You're talking about a very short journey.
Man.
In addition, where you described this cabin is an area that was heavily searched by the hundreds of people that did the search, and no one saw a cabin. And certainly if they had, they would have searched the cabin. It is the most obvious place that someone lost in the woods would go. There's no cabins in that area. So where was he? And where did he get the curtain from? And so just like the Michael Reel case,
I don't know what to say, dog. Like, that's weird. He couldn't have been in that area. Well, yeah, he couldn't have been, because I think people would notice a huge-ass cabin, especially in an area that's heavily searched. It would have been one thing if he said it was searched. Because you could say search, and it could be like a little light search or something like that. Heavily searched means that there was at least a couple of groups that passed by that area. Or somebody that was really looking at every tree and or around every tree in that area. So no, yeah, I'm not buying this, dog. I mean, I do, not saying dude's lying, because obviously he got the curtain from somewhere, but like, I don't think the cabin was where he thought it. I just don't think the cabin is where he thinks it is. Because that's just not possible. Or it could be, but that has to be a really well hidden cabin. Especially because, you got the police out there, you got the forest rangers, I think. I don't know what you call those, park rangers. You got those guys. I don't know if it was a park that they were camping in, but even if not, park rangers are pretty good at tracking people, through the woods, because park rangers, their parks generally, if you're a park ranger, you've got a nice sized park that you're having to patrol or having to do your job at. So yeah, I don't know. This is weird, bro. This is wild already.
Where the boy is found and he's healthy, and so everyone looks past the weirdness of his discovery and his story because he's alive. That's what happened to Larry Davenport. Very strange story. Don't know what you're doing walking around with a curtain on you, and I don't exists, but you're alive, so we're okay with it. No one really did much research into the weirdness around these two stories. But David Paulides in the Missing 411 team said it's pretty difficult to overlook the fact that in a very short period of time, two different people that didn't know each other, that were not interacting in any way, went missing in roughly the same area, Rowan Mountain, North Carolina side. Under the same circumstances, they suddenly got up and walked away inexplicably. There's no trace of them. Dogs can't pick up their scent. Then they show up and they're kind of confused about how they got there, but here they are. And then they describe the same cabin that they found themselves being drawn to and staying inside of for significant amounts of time before being found again. That seems like too much of a coincidence to just write off. So, I would like to hear what you think happened to these two people. Was the cabin a hallucination? And if so, how did they both evade such a massive search effort? Or was it real? And who was the person in the cabin with Michael? So that's going to do it.
Wait a minute. There was a person in the cabin? Because dude didn't say it for Larry. I thought he said Larry just hung out in the cabin for a minute, grabbed the curtain, and then left. But, jeez, bro. I wish you would have kept that Michael story up on YouTube. I'm gonna see if I can't find it. See if maybe like the family's cool and maybe he was able to re-upload it. But dude, this is weird. Like he said, it kind of mirrored this one. So they were both in the same woods. They both left, I guess, in similar ways, and they both ended up at this cabin. But apparently, with Michael's story, there was somebody in the cabin. Now I don't know if that's this guy that he's talking about in the story, if that's Larry or if it's somebody completely different. That's some witchcraft, some wizardry, some wizard, bro. That is weird though, for sure. Well, like I said, this has been my first video reaction to Mr. Ballen. If you guys liked it, leave a like. Put a link down below in the comment section since I've got it working now. Any videos you would like to see me react to, and glad to see everybody that checks out this video. Glad to see that you guys are here. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Yes, subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything and makes me feel a little better at the end. Alright, peace, y'all. 1994 Q-Dog out.